Hey guys, meteorologist Kaitlin Wright here in the WCCB Charlotte Weather Center talking about yet another winter storm. Have you heard about it? I'm sure you have, because this is going to be historic for areas across the deep south. It is still snowing right now in New Orleans, stretching all the way to my old hometown there, Pensacola, Florida, just getting a report in of 6 inches of snow across the Florida panhandle. They will end up seeing more snow in parts of Florida than Charlotte has in 3 years. It's probably just unfair, I'm sure. If we're going to be in the 20s all day, can we just have a little bit of measurable snow? Not totally how it works, though. The dry air, actually, there was snow falling today, but the air was very dry at the surface. And so radar picked it up because radar beams go up with height. So it depicted that snow falling. So it was showing up on radar. But again, we just weren't getting it here at the surface. Our atmosphere and our surface level has moistened up now. And so we are starting to see some snowflakes across the area. Let me know where you're joining from, and let me know if you're seeing any snowflakes in your area too. A lot of us will be just that, just some flakes, maybe a dusting, and then some areas in our viewing area, like Chesterfield County, down into Lancaster, maybe even Eastern Union, could see a little bit of measurable snow, upwards of an inch. So here's what radar and satellite looks like right now. That time you're joining us is approaching 5:10, about 5:08, 5:09. It does look like we have some flurries flying around Concord, so probably up through Enochville and Kannapolis, stretching through Cabarrus County, and then our southeastern counties, even our southern counties, mainly south, I should say, of our southern counties, so south of Chester County, more toward the Midlands, picking up on that measurable snow, or at least more flakes flying. You can see how it's pretty tough here, and I'll tell you, the computer models were shifting everything to the southeast over the last 48 hours. And then the hurricane hunters, believe it or not, took off from Biloxi yesterday, sampled the data in the Gulf low pressure that has been causing all of this. Those models then ingested the data, and we saw that northwesterly shift. So that's why our forecast, I talked about it last night at 10, is playing out the way that it is. We have a sharp cutoff. It is hard forecasting here. I grew up here. I went to UNC Charlotte, and I remember forecasting snow for this area often. We always have that cutoff of no snow or snow and freezing rain. At this point, you're either dry. That happens sometimes, I guess. Our control room is in another show right now for Columbia, so that's why this just happened, but I'll keep talking. But so that's why we're either dry or you're seeing snow, which when this turns back on, I'll show you our measurable snow map. There we go. So let's go ahead and first look at future track, then I'll show you that. So we do, this I think is underestimating it a little bit. You can see some snow south and east of I-85, but the computer model doesn't have it filling across the entire viewing area. So this is 8 o'clock. I'll continue to play this out through the evening. I anticipate by 10, even maybe 11, it's done. So this is pretty much a non-event for us, but we will be seeing some snow depending on your location. So if you are in and around Charlotte, over through Salisbury, Cabarrus County, even northern areas of Union County, I'll say flakes to a dusting. So it's not anything tremendous, but the kids might be able to see some snow and get excited about that. But again, not bad. I will say our roads are very cold and have been because of the temperatures. So it'll just take a dusting to make for slick roads. So I'll call it minor impacts here across the central Piedmont. As you head down south into Lancaster, Chesterfield counties, and then toward the Sandhills, a dusting to an inch, possibly up to 2 if a heavier band sets up. I think that heavier band is going to set up more toward I-95, but this is what the snowfall map looks like. So that's kind of story one, which I want to talk about. People get so excited about snow, but the real concern is the cold air. You felt it out there today. It's just bone-chilling cold. It just feels different when it's this cold. And with the clouds not helping us warm at all, no sunshine out there, this is how it's going to feel tomorrow. 10 below zero. And that's in Boone. That's not technically the higher elevation of the high country. You go up to areas like Grandfather Mountain or even Beach Mountain, Sugar Mountain, it is going to feel like 20 below zero out there tomorrow morning. That's dangerous. Here in the Piedmont, the kids are waiting at the bus stop around 7, and it's going to be feeling like it's in the single digits. So this chill is just dangerously cold. We typically have cold weather impact us like 32 degrees. You don't have to do anything to protect your pipes, but with this kind of cold, I certainly recommend that you do. And how to do that, you want to open your cabinet doors in your house, like the sink, those doors under your sink, so the heat from your home can kind of go around that pipe so your pipes don't burst. That's kind of thing one you need to do. Thing two, if you still have a hose on your spigot outside, take that off. And then if you can like cover it with a sock or something so that cold air doesn't go into your house. So those are a couple things you can do. Check your carbon monoxide and your smoke detectors. When we get this cold, it's always a good time to do that. And then practice fire safety. You'll want any type of space heater at least 3 feet away from anything. So if you are using space heaters out there, please just practice that fire safety. Do we have any questions?
People are asking how this is going to impact the victims of Hurricane Helene.
So it's not actually. So the cold will, of course, but the snow, they could see some snow in the mountains, but that's mainly the higher elevations. Over toward Asheville, like Lower Chimney Rock, that were really impacted. It's the cold, which, yes, that is impacting them. And that, I personally, I guess I'd rather be 32 and snowing than it be 10 below zero. That is just terrible for them. And this is kind of a prolonged cold event, but as far as the snow goes, if that's what you're referring to, thankfully they could see some flakes, but this is primarily an eastern event, which is wild. We don't see that too often. I'll kind of backtrack here, and you can really see what I'm talking about right here. So stretching down into New Orleans, this was impacting areas of Texas earlier, but so you can kind of see the cutoff. All right here is a lot of dry air at the surface. So even through the day today, it was showing snow over Atlanta and then into Charlotte, but it wasn't making it to the ground. So Western North Carolina, it's not really an event for them. It's mainly Eastern North Carolina, which right now, South Carolina, the coast, getting in, unfortunately, in a wintry mix, which is terrible. A sleet, a freezing rain, and then a snowpack. You don't want to see that. But they'll start to see some accumulating totals across the Outer Banks into areas like Southport, Myrtle Beach. We'll see that, and then Charleston again once that snow band pushes east and fills in there.
We're starting to get people saying there's snow flurries going on outside Indian Land, all the way up into Davidson, Cornelius area. Are seeing some?
Yeah. Let's go back to the radar here and just kind of see what we're seeing. It's really light, so I'm sure you are seeing flakes in the Davidson Cornelius area right about here. You're probably seeing some. And then Rowan County heading over to Stanley County, and then Cabarrus County, Lancaster, Chesterfield, Richmond. You guys are all seeing a little bit of snowflakes. So thanks for your report. If you can send any photos safely out in the cold, maybe even from your window so you don't have to get out, post them here and let us know where you're taking that picture from.
And can you break down like how normally you just said that the South doesn't get snow like this? What has caused this to?
This is so rare. I haven't forecasted anything like this in my 10 years being a meteorologist. Even living down in Pensacola, we had flakes, like 4 flakes once, but nothing like this. My friends and even my in-laws live down there right now. This is very rare. This could be a once in a lifetime event. So what's happening is we had the Arctic air, the Siberian or Arctic air mass just dive from Canada, and it made it all the way down to the Gulf Coast, basically into northern Mexico. And so the cold air was in place. It was perfect timing that an area of low pressure was forming in the Gulf of Mexico. So the cold air was locked in. The low was bringing moisture, and those two things, it was perfect timing. It just met up to form this epic, rare, historic winter storm across the area. For the first time today, there were blizzard warnings issued for areas of Texas and Louisiana. It is wild. The photos and videos, I posted one on my Facebook page. A guy was skiing on the beach in Galveston, like not water skiing, snow skiing on the beach. So this is a really, really rare event. And of course, we are missing out on it. I feel we've missed out on the events that came from the West. We're missing out on the event for the most part, the one coming from the South too. So we'll get it one time.
Is there any particular reason on how we keep missing? Like, is there something that's breaking up these systems as they come through Charlotte?
I would say the last one and this one, dry air, has really hindered our ability. So that's what happens too. When you have an Arctic front pull in, the definition of a frontal boundary is a boundary between two air masses. So ahead of that, you get the humid air, you get the storms if you know it's storm season. And then behind it, you get dry, cold air. So it takes a while for the precipitation to kind of overrun the dry air at the surface. And we have been in a position where the dry air has hindered the totals and has really won out toward the beginning of these events. So that's what we have seen here is really just the dry air get involved.
All right.
Really good questions, though. And again, let us know where you're joining from. Look outside. You might be surprised to be seeing a few flakes out there. Before I let you go, I do want to go to my updated snow map here. Again, this area is shaded in light blue. You guys could see some flakes, and I think it's verifying. So you were over in Cornelius and Davidson, maybe Concord, Kannapolis, toward Enochville, Charlotte, South Charlotte, seeing a few flakes. I know we're here in East Charlotte. We have a couple outside right now. But at most, you'll get a dusting in this zone since I think a lot of this, and I can go back so you can kind of see the trajectory here. Let me go back one more. So you can see a lot of this, especially look at some of these heavier bands. That's what I'm talking about. If the darker blues, the higher reflectivity bands, I think that might set up somewhere toward I-95. So yeah, we could see some snow. And any little bit of snow could cause some minor problems out on the road, some slick travel. So do be careful. Pay attention to the news. If your phone rings, could be the schools calling, especially in our southeastern county. I do expect some cancellations and delays. Thankfully, this is just snow. So no sleet, no freezing rain for us, which is a wonderful thing. Just not too much for the kids to have a snowball fight. Oh, yes. And then I do want to talk about our app because this is a great place to download it. I need to build in a graphic to talk about that because it's really, really cool. I am here after I get off this going to do another little web push on the app so you can turn on your notifications and get those immediate alerts. Chief Meteorologist Nicole Madden, she is the queen of the app. She's so good at sending the morning push alerts. I'm here at night. Meteorologist James Scott is here on the weekend, so we're always getting those alerts. So it's good to have during winter weather, especially good to have during severe weather too, because I always talk about having at least 2 to 3 ways to receive those warnings. You can also zoom into your area. Say you live in Cornelius. You could say, okay, is it snowing here? Let me check the precipitation type. So it's a good tool for future track. We have it on there. Drought monitor, current radar, temperatures, web cameras. You can get it all. WCCB Charlotte weather. If you type that into the App Store, you'll be able to find it. I'll keep checking to see if you guys have any questions, but I'll let you go for now. Stay safe, stay warm.